Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Hopefully you guys have been all having a fantastic day. Bitcoin is down around 3%, Ethereum is down around 5, XRP is down around 5. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just does not look good on the charts today, so I want to talk about that. Talk about the trade we talked about a couple days ago here and how that one worked out temporarily before hitting that first level of resistance. And then just go over some of the news today. This Bitcoin market here is, I don't want to say atrocious, but it's been pretty atrocious so far for us. Excuse me. I've been thinking of just like how everything has been moving right now and how everything was really going very well up until we had the tariff fight, This already fits for what I've been saying, but I think until that tariff threat is kind of taken off the table and we figure out something, or maybe November 1st just kind of rolls around, I do believe Bitcoin is probably going to be very boring for the next few weeks here. Day trading will be fun, little opportunities for swing trades up to 48 hours. Those are going to be fun. But if you're looking for swing trades that last for like a week to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't know if those are really going to be the best bet right now, unless you guys are willing to endure some type of pain where you buy now, it goes down a little bit, then we kind of rally up down the road. So I'm going to be curious to see how all of that kind of comes along here. One of the big things that's keeping Bitcoin, I think, from crashing and burning or just going to the heavens right now is that on Friday, just a couple days from now, we do have CPI data coming out. And I believe that will be a big catalyst for Bitcoin one way or the other. Overall, before we get to going through the normal stuff here on the channel, as long as the stock market is staying strong, which it is, I'm going to keep on holding my Bitcoin and assets and stuff like that, and just kind of going day by day with this horrible stuff that is cryptocurrency right now. It's not like crypto's bad, but we have very high expectations for cryptocurrency, which is why we're in it, right? So, happy to tell you guys in here today. Let me hop on over here to get down with everything else. So as you can see right here, guys, Bitcoin down, Ethereum down. You got XMR up a little bit here, but a lot of stuff is just down today. Not looking too great, which kind of sucks because earlier we actually did have a really nice move. If you guys recall, I didn't stream yesterday because I was in mourning for the Mariners, right? But the day before that, I had talked about how there was an opportunity for a high risk trade if you wanted to buy and then kind of play that level of resistance. And so what we had happen here for Bitcoin is maybe the 4-hour chart would work a little bit better. I told you guys about, hey, it looks like we may go up to the next level of resistance here, so you guys may want to wait a little bit, but basically if you buy around here, have your stop loss right there, you should be good. We almost hit that stop loss, and I mean almost hit that stop loss, ran straight into a level of resistance and then got rejected. I think the fact that we're getting rejected like this isn't something that's new or some type of crazy manipulation. I do think, however, it is that the momentum is just not on our side right now, and this is why everything is so high risk when we're doing these types of longs. So when we look at Bitcoin here, you can see we're still coming down week over week over week, and we had talked about this, well, a few days ago, honestly, how normally when we break down below the 20 here, let me get rid of this since we don't need it for now. We typically do come down for a little bit, and there's a few weeks of just nothing really happening. It doesn't mean we necessarily crash for week after week after week. We just have one bad week over here, but then we have to take a few weeks to consolidate. That's the thing I'm really afraid of, because we may, for the first time in a long time, break down from this trend line over here. When I look at Bitcoin, there's always a lot of trend lines that people use, I would say. If I go over here to the monthly chart, you got this one over here. We're breaking down below that right now, which isn't great. I would say that maybe I can adjust it to right there. So we still have a little bit of time. Let me see, 0.1, 0.2. There you go. So we have a little bit of time here. In fact, I said with the monthly chart, we have, let's say, by the end of this month and maybe 2 months. So in reality, we should try to have a pop, a big move, a breakout in November or December, then continue going higher. I don't know why this cycle has been so miserable as far as consolidation, and consolidation, but it just kind of seems what we've been doing here. And while Bitcoin is kind of okay to be doing this for, because we know there's been a lot of growth over the past few years, if you bought anywhere over here, this bottom zone, you're up around 424%. Like, that's not bad at all. Ethereum, maybe made some moves here, but not a lot. And you can see Ethereum is breaking down here too. Solana, Solana's had a very good return. That's one of the things that, we've all been buying here. But things like Dogecoin held up pretty well, still going higher besides the tariff kind of freak out moment here. But there's been a lot of tokens that just have not been able to stand the test of time. And it almost reminds you that a lot of the tokens we see and we trade right now, they're not going to be around in a few years, because as soon as we go into a crypto winter or a bear market of any sort, these tokens go to zero. Everybody sells what little they have left and they just move on, hold their assets, really consolidate into Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solanas, the Dogecoins, those larger tokens that have been able to survive cycle after cycle after cycle. So, well, I'm still holding a bunch of Bitcoin and crypto and stuff like that. I really hope we can just get this big breakout out. If you look at Bitcoin right now, the momentum is still good, bullish, bullish, bullish. The weekly chart is what has us concerned right now with bearish, bearish, bearish. But we've been here a lot of times in the past, and we found a way to get higher, especially as the SPY is still going to all-time highs, NASDAQ all-time highs, Dow Jones all-time highs. We seem to be doing okay. But I do wonder if I should probably take another scale out moment here this week or next week, just in case, because CPI is coming out tomorrow. I'm hoping that news will kind of boost Bitcoin up, which will be very nice. But as we go into next month here, what exactly is the Fed going to be doing at the end of this month with the rate cuts, and what's going to be happening with the economy and stuff like that? Loki's over here because he wants a treat. I'm out of treats for Loki right now. I got one more from him, but that's when I leave later on tonight. I got these little bones for him that he really enjoys. Yeah. It's like a treat here, a treat here, a treat here, and a little like bone thing that he can chew on a little bit to kind of gnaw on the teeth. And there, off he goes to the bedroom. Alrighty, so that's that for now. We'll come back to the technical analysis here in a little bit, because we're going to be talking about Bitcoin dominance, what's going to be happening over the next few hours and stuff like that. But Bitcoin still looks bearish, and this concerns me to the point where like maybe we do break down below $100,000, which is that fear, maybe not the certainty, but that fear of that happening is making me want to scale out of some of my crypto positions. Now, as far as news today, the overall market was down a little bit. Not crazy. We've been kind of choppy the last few days. Going higher, but choppy while we do it. Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. I've been drinking a bunch of water today. But Meta laid off 600 employees within the AI unit. Tesla reports revenue growth for the first time in 2 quarters, which was really good. Well, I guess 2 more things here. The shutdown is now the longest shutdown in U.S. history, or second longest shutdown in U.S. history. I'm not entirely sure how much of an effect this is going to have, but when I see stuff like this, I know a large amount of people are not going to be getting paid here and have not been getting paid, so that will affect the economy a little bit, which I don't know if that makes CPI in the short term and inflation in the short term go down because people don't have as much money to spend, or is it worse because maybe in a month or two the inflation numbers are above expectations because everybody now has that back pay and they're paying their bills, of course, but just kind of going gung-ho and buying some of the stuff they would have bought over the past few weeks. So I'll be waiting to see how that works itself out. And then lastly here, this thing right here. Amazon introduces BlueJay, a warehouse robot that performs multiple tasks at once. Now, I thought this was fascinating here. Basically, if you're an Amazon warehouse worker, you don't really have much time left before you have having a job there, right? I think if you're a delivery person, you're good. But if you're like on the package people inside the warehouse, I don't think you're going to be having a job much longer. I'm not going to read the entire article. I'll just read this little key point section here. But Amazon unveiled a new robotic system for its warehouses that can pick, sort, and consolidate packages in a single assembly line. The system is called BlueJay, and Amazon said it has already being deployed in one of its South Carolina warehouses. The announcement comes as Amazon rapidly automates its warehouses, raising questions about how it could impact its hiring plans in the future. Again, I don't know exactly how much Amazon pays. Let's see. How much does Amazon warehouse pay? It says the average wage is around $20 to $23, right? That's not really a lot for the type of grueling work that they do, especially because like they could go get a trade job if they're willing to gruel it out for a few years. But robots seem to be taking a lot of these warehouse jobs here pretty soon. That could impact the way the economy is moving because, again, Amazon and a lot of these warehouses employ a lot of people. A lot of people. So just wait. More and more robots hit hit the manufacturing floor, distribution floor. I don't know. We're going to be hearing more and more news about that, okay? Now, as far as general news in crypto, I didn't really find too much new stuff here. The NHL becomes the first major sports league to license trademarks to prediction markets. Bitcoin prime for dip to $100,000 before October resumes, says Standard Chartered. I'm prepared to go to prison, Nigel Farage. Nothing really crazy going on right now. Nothing really crazy. Overall market still red as can be. Only thing that's really been up the last 60 days really has been BNB here, which kind of sucks. Everything else has been just abysmal. XMR, Zcash, Tau, Memecore, Aster, Pax Gold, Pump Fund, Tether Gold, right? Not really a lot has been going up right now. The MYX Finance seems to be doing very good. I'm happy with that one. But yeah, guys, this has been kind of just a brutal last few weeks here, and I don't know if we're going to get out of this anytime soon. Now, I will remind you, and I know I reminded you guys about this on Monday, but typically when you do buy into these fear zones right here, or these greed zones, if you hold through them, they usually do very, very well for us. Very, very well. I wish this chart went a little bit further back in time so we can kind of see what's happening there. Let's get rid of the volume there. But you guys can see the last few times we've actually went down here, right, into the fear. If you bought in those times, Bitcoin did manage to go higher, which is going to be good. Same over here, extreme fear, extreme fear. You buy around till you hold it, Bitcoin's still fine. It's just right now you got to hold and hold it. It may take a few more weeks. It may even take a month and a half or something like that. And then we're going to be good. But I just hate the fact that we have to deal with this again. And I think what makes this little nasty move that we've been looking at so bad is that we were going to all-time highs. We were seeing everything aligning. And then trade war talk started to come back again, and that just killed all the momentum we had. It really did snap the momentum, and I don't know how we get that back in the short term here. Long term, the charts are still looking fine. Short term here on the weekly chart, like I said, pattern would suggest that we are going to be coming down here a little bit more, and possibly the next level of resistance is kind of around 98,500, all the way up here to around 100,700. I would expect us to probably fall back down here, even if it's a wick and we continue to move back higher. You're probably going to see us wick down a little bit more, which is going to be a little bit scary because altcoins are probably going to have like a nasty move. That being said, if you were ever wanting to short an altcoin and just like use the weekly high as your stop loss, do a 2x or 3x short, and just kind of watch these positions come down, it'll probably make you a good amount of money there. These are all high risk plays right now because we do have a couple catalysts that can come our way. The first one, if you were to buy it today, like I talked about before, the first one would be CPI. Would that make your favorite altcoin pop after you do short? The second thing is, the government shutdown going to happen? That would also make things pop. And then on top of that, there may be some outlying news coming on with politics and stuff like that they may cause a little bit. But I would just trump that up to the Trump exciting times, or whatever you want to call it, that he could tweet and our plays get absolutely slaughtered out there. All right. Just one little quick thing. The U.S. oil is popping up here. I'm interested to see if we're going to hold, or over the next few weeks we are going to plummet back down below. I'd be very excited if we do, because we'll be as low as we've been since like February 2021 or like January of 2020. So we could see oil prices continue to go lower and lower and lower, which again, that means the oil places in America aren't going to be profitable. But that means me and you, we get to have cheaper gas, which is always a fantastic thing here. Now, there we go. All right, so what are you guys talking about here today? This has been a very exhausting cycle. Oh my God, yes it has. Yes it has. Yes, it very much has. Hey, GOP, happy to see my man. It seems like everyone is buying meme stocks instead of memes and alts. It's a rotation. It's definitely a rotation. People go in and out, in and out, in and out all the time. You're seeing a little bit of squeezes happening right now. I believe the squeeze for today was I forget about it, but it was a famous Beyond Meat, I think is what it was. Beyond Meat. There you go. They keep saying retail is not here. I call bullshit. They're just here. They're not in crypto. They're in playing stocks. No, it's not necessarily that. It's just that they're, how would I put this? The money we saw in 2021 is not the money we're going to have right now. And that's primarily because the government isn't giving out free money anymore, right? It's just not the same environment. Who's messaging me? Oh, that's just reflection. Okay. What's my thoughts on XRP? Just like Bitcoin, XRP is looking pretty bearish right now. I'm hoping we can have some type of bounce, but you can see how Bitcoin's been able to hold a certain level. XRP's been draining and draining, and that money's been going into Bitcoin here. Look at this weekly chart very fast. We already had that nasty move where you guys can see that XRP went down from around $3 all the way down here to $1.25. This bad. I would suspect that if XRP does have that next move down here and it gets nasty, we're probably going to find a little bit of support right around here. And that's going to be around $1.90, which would be a pretty nasty move down for XRP. That'd be around like 17-18%. So I would expect XRP to continue to come down a little bit more here over the next week or so. Let's see. I mean, all the Fibonacci levels got like just broken here, so it's not really like much. Technically, we close right there, but that's not a lot, right? Only thing close to that really is, you know, your $1.58, which is still a lot lower than where we are right now. Also matching up with some of the highs we had back over here in April of 2021. Also matching some of the support we found back over here in April of 2025. And then also matching up with the 20-month moving average here. That might not be terrible. So I would expect you probably have a decent amount of support over here around $1.60 or so. But yeah, it's still kind of rough here as far as XRP is concerned. This is why I'm thinking of just selling off some crypto this week and just getting done with it. Like, I'm starting to get irritated with how lackluster I would say this is, right? Let me text a friend back very fast. But yeah, so it's just been kind of abysmal so far. I mean, I don't mind when we have major crashes because I like to buy them and kind of hold them, and I can make some money off of it. But at this point, it's almost to the point where you just buy, you forget it, and then we really have to focus on the day trading opportunities and the swing trading opportunities, which I think are going to be very, very good. And I think what I need to do is start coming up with some opportunities as far as shorting positions. So what I've been doing over the last few days, I told you guys I'm working this week on a new YouTube video for you guys, a new trading tutorial, and it really encompasses 3 parts. So I know that's tiny words. It hurts my eyes to read too. But basically, I'm going to make videos. I'm going to make PowerPoint slides that kind of go all around this. It's probably like an hour and a half to 2 hour strategy. But I think if you guys listen to this video, watch the video, you'll actually be able to become pretty profitable pretty quickly, as long as you don't over leverage and get excited and stuff like that. So the first part of the strategy will be making a macro trading chart, right? So setting up the macro charts, the long-term stuff. And basically, when this is bullish, that allows you to do bullish day trades with this strategy and bullish swing trades for this strategy right here, right? And then you can also do day and swing trading charts with this particular one right here. We'll break it down why this is good, bad. This is probably my favorite. This is gonna be my second favorite, third favorite, and then the master rule, never buy at heavy levels of resistance. And then I'll also be adding in maybe a just showing you guys, hey, this is a big level of resistance, this is not a big level of resistance, right? Like just zoom out a little bit. Does that look like a big level of resistance? Yes, no, maybe so, right? So this is what I'm basically working on this week. I have, well, I don't have it open right now, but I have a PowerPoint thing opened up as well, where basically I'll show you guys like, hey, let's add the MACD, the RSI, the stochastic with the custom settings, and then I'll break down the strategy. But after I'm done breaking down the strategy, I'll pull up a slide saying, hey, If the weekly MACD is bullish, if the weekly RSI and stochastic are bullish, therefore you have a green light to do this. If only two are bullish, then you have no green light to do X, Y, Z. So I'm still trying to figure out how to format the video, but I have everything that I want to be in part of it. But I want to make sure it doesn't go over you guys' heads and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I may actually just make 2 videos with 2 different styles to see which ones perform better. But I think there's still going to be some good stuff happening there. But it's going to be a very boring video. I tried to figure out a way to make it exciting, and I was like, there's no way. There's freaking no way. Tesla got growth since it was the last chance to get that 7K discount at EVs. Yeah, that's also it right there. You know, my friend actually just bought a used Tesla, and he said he got a big EV credit for that as well. He's enjoying it right now. He loves it, especially because gas was getting expensive out here in Washington. I don't have to remind you guys that AAA gas prices are absolutely crazy, specifically for Washington State. Texas is $2.59, California is $4.61, Washington $4.38. Our gas has been coming down, thank freaking God. But overall, gas prices have been coming down because of some drill baby drill, that type of stuff, which has been good. But up here, right, we're at $4.38. A week ago, we were at $4.46. A month ago, we were at $4.61. We were getting up there in prices, guys. So I'm happy we're coming down just a tad. A year ago, we were at $4 though, so we're higher. We're way higher than we were a year ago, which sucks because, like California, they're lower than they were a year ago. Oregon, they're high. Oh, they're higher too, just like us. I wonder if it's just a Northwest thing here. Utah's lower. It may just be a Pacific Northwest thing. What about Idaho? Idaho too, yeah. It's just our little corner. I wonder if we're not having enough refineries over here or something like that. Maybe we need to get a pipeline that goes to Idaho, Montana, something like that. Massive refineries over here and just send that oil over. Or if you guys ever been to Washington, we have like mountains right here. This whole area is very conservative Republican. Build a freaking refinery out there. Get that gas freaking flowing over here. And that's something I would absolutely adore. Absolutely adore. You bought 10K Bitcoin at 6K. Should I sell now? I'm always in favor of scaling out when you feel like you've made enough money. I started scaling out of Bitcoin. I bought it 22,000. That was my average, at least. I started scaling out of Bitcoin when it hit $100,000. I mean, it's not $180,000, right? So I've been scaling out of Bitcoin for a minute. I've been able to lock in the profits, put it towards stocks and other stuff like that, more speculative bets. Like I told you guys, I put some money into the ICCM stuff, the ATST stuff. I'm out of the ASTS stuff right now. But that ICCM one, I think it's down like 30% since I bought it or something like that. Freaking tragic. So, again, speculative bet. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah, I'm always in favor of scaling out if you feel like you've made enough money. But I always have these plans ahead of time, right? So when I buy them, I have an idea like, hey, if Bitcoin goes like to $80,000, $90,000, I'll sell some off. If it goes to like $100,000, I'll sell some off. If it goes to $120,000, I'll sell some off, right? And that's what I've been doing. I'm just selling off a little bit, like 5% there, 5% there, 10% there, 5%, right? And that works for me. But I'm okay with not getting the best absolute price as long as I've been able to make some money off of all this, right? And hey, Damien, happy to see my man B&B got on to Robinhood today. Oh, that's some good news right there. That's something we can get hyped about. I got into Beyond on Friday, less than $1 just because I thought it was cheap. It is very, very cheap. I know, hold on a second here. And hey, Bill Short, I'm happy to see my man. Short interest, I think it's highshortinterest.com. Yeah, there you go. Beyond Meat right there. That's one of the things. Hertz Global Holdings, that still has a very high short float. So if you guys are looking for stocks, maybe I'll just make a video about this. And I'll just say, hey, here are the top 5 highest short interest stocks in the market. And I'll just kind of place them out for you guys, see what's going on here. AI, yeah. Plug. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff in here, right? So all of these have opportunities to have big blow ups here. All of them pretty much have small floats except for Hertz. I mean, Air Sculptures Technologies. What the heck is that? Liposuction without downtime. Why would I invest in a company like that? The Children's Place, that seems a little too sketchy to push online. Kohl's Corporation. All right, Lemonade Inc. Sounds like a Beyonce thing. But yeah. A lot of high short interest companies over here. Maybe this fintech one here. I have never heard of this one. Nucleus is a global A&D investment firm focused on something. Oh, okay. It feels like Trump is leading us towards peace, not war, but let's see. Last 5 years. Oh, man. I mean, it's had short squeezes before. So this one actually might be a nice little thing. It ran up to $40 last short squeeze. That could be interesting. Yeah, that could be something for some of you guys over there, especially if you guys want to do like gambling options and stuff like that. That could be interesting. I'm also onboarding a new sponsor here pretty soon. I think it's a prop firm based out of Australia. So for some of you guys that have been asking me about that, I got one sponsor for you guys. I don't really want to dig too deep into it, but some of you guys have just been asking me about prop firms, and I'm like, I don't really know too much about all that type of stuff, right? But I would say that with Beyond Meat having these types of big moves, let me phrase this a different way. Right now, people are getting bored with long-term swing trading and cryptocurrency types of holds, right? They're not getting bored with day trading because the day trading overall has been very, very good for those that are kind of used to it, right? But if you're a swing trader by trade and you notice that Bitcoin's been very slow, altcoins just have not been what you guys wanted it to be, and then you start looking at some of these other things like Beyond Meat, right? This is a 15-minute chart. Let me just zoom out here a little bit. Goes from 50 cents all the way up to 8.75. Now, there probably were some halts in here and stuff like that that caused a little bit of chaos for the people that bought, but that's still a really beautiful move, and now a lot of these guys are going to be looking for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. In this circumstance, the next one is HTZ, that'd be Hertz, but I believe Hertz already had one, didn't they? So we can go over here to Hertz Global Holdings. Let me go over here to the weekly chart. Yeah, but theirs was way back in 2021. It happened a long time ago when they were going bankrupt and stuff. They had another one back over here in April. So maybe you'll see a little bit of sympathy, and perhaps this goes up a little bit higher. What you'd probably be aiming for is this level of resistance right there. You can almost see it looks like it's trying to flag right now. All right, consolidate, have a realistic breakout, but in a couple weeks there's earnings, so that'll be fun. But the one that I think may be better here is this NUKK. Let me pull this up for us here very fast. NUKK. See, it's already had a nice climb back up from 360 up here to as far as $15, coming back down now. I think there's a way. I think if you wanted to, you could scale into this position. Again, if you're doing these high risk types of short squeeze opportunities, you're probably only going to invest like $100 or so. You don't really need to put a large amount of your portfolio in here because, of course, these are just going to be high risk. And when you put a lot of money into a high risk position, then it doesn't go your way. You always ask yourself, why did I do that? Don't put yourself in that position, right? You'd rather be saying, why didn't I put more money into this thing than, oh my God, I put way too much. All right, let me go back over here very fast. What do you have to say, Larry? The thing with the expenses on gas is that the refineries in the West are being taken down. In order to get oil, it has to go to the ship. Ships cost 3x more in 2021. Okay, let's see. I wonder where our refineries are. Oops, Loki says hello, everybody. Well, you want to say hi? He's looking for extra treats, but as you guys know, he just had a massive treat. Yeah, somebody's happy. All right, let me go over here. Refine oil and gas refineries in Washington State. Because again, I know we can get oil from Canada, you know. So U.S. Oil and Refining Company. So we got a few over here. All right, we got a few. It's gonna be in the north again, closer to Canada here. I really hope they can figure that out. Again, this is the issue. We do live in a democratic state. There are going to be more concerns over environment and stuff like that. And what I'm really hoping for here and is over the next like few years, I really hope there's a really safe, environmentally friendly way to still use oil. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people don't want to have oil and stuff like that because it's bad for the environment. Yada, yada, yada. I totally get it. Totally get it. But at a certain point, I want the average person in Washington State to be able to afford to go get gas. I'm actually going to go get gas before I go smoke a cigar tonight. I think my gas tank said like 50 miles or less or something like that, 75 miles or less. So that's usually where it says, oh, hey, go get some gas, right? And I think with me, it's probably going to cost me anywhere from 50 to 60 bucks, which isn't terrible, but I have a Ford Fusion. I don't have a nice truck or an SUV or something like that. In fact, my friend that had an SUV, he bought a Tesla because he was so pissed off at the gas, right? So it's going to be interesting to say the least, but I really hope over the next few years technology will allow us to be able to refine more stuff, more oils, and just, again, make it cheaper for us. Because, again, talking about the ships, that's so, oh, God, that's so stupid. That's so stupid. We should be better than that, I hope. So they're changing more to ship to cover costs. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I just want it. This is where I think that, you know, like I said, if you guys look at a map of Washington State, there's the western side that's all green and lush and techie and hippie and whatnot. You go to the other side, that's mostly rural area. And again, Washington's basically the sliver that goes through the entire, like everybody lives in this everyone lives in this sliver in the middle of Washington State. And you got like rural areas to the west of that and rural areas on the other side of the mountains. All right. I was hoping that somewhere on the rural side where all the conservatives are, they would be more willing to have that stuff, but I believe it would probably conflict with state laws and that type of stuff because people don't seem to realize this, but if you go out there versus over here, everybody still wants green. They all want like, how would I say this? They care about the local environment, right? So I'm hoping that eventually we can figure out something there, but I just don't know, guys. As long as they're coming down in the short term, I'm happy. I do know that OPEC decided to increase their production here. OPEC production. I'm not spelling that right, but whatever. Yeah, OPEC is increasing oil production with a 137,000 barrels per day hike planned for November. So again, it's coming up pretty soon. Maybe that'll make things even cheaper as we go down. And if it just becomes that much more cheaper, maybe we'll see something good happen here. Also, I don't know exactly how bad this is going to be, but I swear it was just a story on here. Well, let me just go here. Okay. Oil. Russia. Here we go. So Brent crude jumps around 5% after Trump administration sanctions big Russian oil companies. Okay. So the Trump administration is slapping additional sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies. We've seen the price of oil come up a little bit because of that. We had just talked about it right here. Again, it went from around $56 up here to 59, a few percent. OPEC coming in here, maybe they'll switch things up when it actually hits the market here. But what's a better way to articulate that? I would have to assume we're going to keep on going down overall. When we're talking about this, though, are they going to be sanctioning the Indian companies that are taking in the Russian oil, then selling it to Europe? or are we going to sanction the Europeans for buying the Russian oil from India? Because what makes that Russia-Ukraine war so crazy is that the only way Russia is able to continue paying for the war is that they're selling all of their energy, all the oil, right? But due to sanctions and regulations, they can't sell the oil to Europe. But Europe desperately needs that oil because they're going through their own economic crisis right now. So Russia sells the oil to India. India becomes a middleman, ups the price a little bit, and sells it to Europe. So Russia keeps on getting money from India. India gets money from Europe. And therefore the war can keep on going on, which is not good for anybody. And that's one of the reasons why I think overall we will be good here as far as the economy, gas prices, all that type of stuff. And part of it has to do with the fact that that's not what I need to do. I want to go to incognito, yeah. Maps, Russia. I do believe that Trump will find a way to end this war. I don't think it's going to happen in the way he wants it to. I don't think Zelensky's going to be happy. I don't think Putin's going to be happy. I think it's just going to be a lot of cold, hard calculations. You know, Russia owns like this land over here. I think that Ukraine may keep all of this and Russia may take this, something like that. And that'll be it. There'll be a little bit of hot fighting for a while or whatever. But what Trump will give Russia for stopping that invasion of Ukraine, what it'll do, it'll basically allow Russia to open back up trading with the Europeans, and more importantly than the Europeans, us, right? Because if we're able to start trading with the Russians again, that takes a little bit of stress off of us with having to just deal with China for all of those cheap goods. I don't even remember, like here, let me go to new chat with ChatGPT over here very fast. Before the Ukraine war, what were the largest imports into the USA from Russia? Let me just see. Palladium, a major global supply of palladium. Palladium. I'm not going to remember how to spell this or how to speak this or say this properly. But, oh, this is one of the things we had just talked about the other day with Trump making that new mineral deal with the Australians. So, again, we're already finding other ways to do it. But that's one. Uranium, we get enriched uranium from them. Fertilizers and chemicals. And crude oil, like or crude energy, like oil, petroleum products, and stuff like that. Right? So, and some seafood, apparently. I don't know if I trust the Russian seafood, but they got it, you know. So if you're asking what can make Bitcoin go the highest, the stock market go the highest, and everybody's very excited, the end of that war. But for that to happen, Trump is going to have to give them those really powerful missiles. I forget what they're called, I think they're Tomahawks, something like that, where they could be launched from the interior of Ukraine deep into Russia and start bombing the shit out of Moscow to the point where it's not just a ground war and like they're going boom, 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 boom. And Russia's like, oh shit, we got to make peace now. Would Russia nuke Ukraine because of that? I don't think so, because I don't think Putin wants to die. But it would freak a lot of people out because like, would it happen? Would it, you know? If Trump can get that done, like he did a pretty decent job with the Israel stuff, I think we'll be fine. But I think Trump doesn't negotiate as well with Putin as he did with Netanyahu and the terrorist Hamas, right? So we'll see how it works. I think Trump needs to be a lot tougher with Russia, a lot tougher. Like I said, giving those missiles over to Ukraine, let them just launch a few at some of his like. Don't even aim for Moscow. Target every single one of Putin's mansions and just blow it up, boom, blow it up, boom, blow it up, boom. Then go for the oligarchs' mansions, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? Like, there are ways to play this, but obviously you'd want to cause Russia a lot of harm just like Russia's caused Ukraine. Does America really want to get involved with that type of stuff even more? No, and that's also an issue there. But I feel like even though we don't want to be involved with it, having it be done faster would be in our benefit, so we can just freaking move the fuck on. So, you know, we'll wait and see how that goes up. Well, how that ends up, excuse me. If oil goes to $40, I'm all in. Oh God, I hope it goes all the way to $40. Let's see. And he stopped buying oil Friday, according to Trump. Yeah, I remember seeing a story on one of those like minor crude oil websites that I like to watch. I don't know if I believe them. I just don't know if I believe them. That's the thing. Who's the president of India right now? It's still Moody, I think is his name, Moody. That's how you pronounce it. I don't know if he's really done it, but let me see if I can find like a more detailed article about it. India, Russian oil. This is a CNBC article. I'm gonna pull one up here that will be there you go. So let's see the CNBC one right here. India to cut Russian oil purchases. U.S. to slash tariffs as they near trade deal. India media report. Washington may cut its tariffs on Indian exports to 15 to 16% from the current 50%, the report said. New Delhi may agree to gradually wind down its imports of Russian oil. May wind... Yeah, see, this is the thing that's weird. Let's see... So on Tuesday, U.S. President Donald Trump said he had received assurance from Indian Prime Minister Modi and a phone call that the New Delhi would scale back purchases of Russian oil. He's not going to buy much oil from Russia. He wants to see the war end as much as I do. And then this one over here, this is more the website that I like to use. Don't know why, but I just like the old school aesthetics of it. Let's see. Last week, India neither confirmed nor denied that it would indeed cut or halt imports of Russian crude oil, and said it is a key energy policy driver that is to safeguard the interests of the Indian consumer. Right? Yeah, it's curious. At a certain point, maybe I don't care if they buy it. Maybe I just care that they sell it over to Europe. They should just buy enough for themselves, and maybe that's what scale back means to them. Enough for themselves to have cheap oil, but not enough enough to profit and sell the extra oil over to Europe. So Europe is going to get fucked a lot by that, to be honest. Let me see. All prices. EU oil prices. Come on. Russian oil keeps flowing despite US and EU pressure. China's crude oil stockpiling baffles markets. See, the European Union is currently devising plans to ban all Russian natural gas imports from 2027. Guys, 2027. You know what I mean? Like, by then you have no idea who's going to be leading all of those countries, right? It's just going to be a completely different ball game. But yeah, it is what it is. Mail order brides. I wonder what the tariffs are on that. I love the topic. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, guys, we're just letting them kind of grind on. And if we want to, and this is something where only Trump would have the audacity to do it, give them the weapons, do it quietly, do it under CIA. You know, lie to the American people. I mean, I don't approve of it, but like, if you really want to do just like lie, give them a bunch of shit, you know, let it do it. Putin will be pissed, but at this point, I think it's just drones and drones and drones and more drones, isn't it? Like, Russia, Ukraine. Yeah, just lots and lots of drones. So why not just say, hey, you know, let's do our thing here and get it over with. And look at that.
Ебать! Ебать!
Those drones are pretty freaking useful nowadays, you know. When I think of drones, I think of small little things like I see at the store, like at Best Buy. But these drones, I mean, whew, you know, they got some stuff on them right here. Inside the NBA, Hamburger Helper. There's not really much to talk about here today. Hamburger Helper, oh my God. Oh, Hamburger Helper sales surges. Americans tighten budget for meals. Oh God, see, the economy's not good. Oh, that's fucking terrifying right there. I don't like Hamburger Helper, so I don't eat it. But yeah, that's me. I can't believe Hamburger Helper is making a comeback. That guy, that CEO must be just making some money right now. Right, money. There's a lot of returns for mail order brides, though. Product not advertised and that kind of stuff. Oh, shit, I bet. I will have to watch the replay. Work got in the way. Happy Wednesday, Michael and Loki. Happy to see you, Lisa. Yeah, I'm going to call it a day right now, guys. Bitcoin's bearish. It still looks like we're trying to come down a little bit more. I do think we could be happy with the volatility that's going to be coming away because if you guys did day trade, there'll be some good moves there. But altcoins are about to get hit, so I'm thinking this week, I'll let you guys know, I'll probably shave off 20% of my altcoins, even the ones that are down, and just like say, hey, I need to take some pressure off of my portfolio, and I'll move that over into general, let me say, growth ETFs that have some decent dividends. I'll probably end up moving it over there, and possibly into more precious metals like a silver, not gold, because gold's already been going kind of crazy, but silver, and maybe some miners, like ETF on silver miners and things like that, gold miners. I think that could work out pretty well. So see you guys a little bit later on today. I'm gonna go smoke a cigar. I'm sorry I didn't smoke a cigar with you guys today. I just don't have any in my immediate vicinity. They're all upstairs and I forgot because I was getting Loki's treat. But I will try to smoke with you guys later on this week, and I'll keep you guys updated about that massive tutorial I'm making. It's going to be a couple hours, but I think it's going to be very, very good, and it'll teach you guys the basics of how I do all of my trading, but just in a way that's like designed for you guys. It's designed so you guys will add on all the lines and stuff where normally I see everything in my head. You guys can actually say, oh yeah, that's what Michael's talking about. That's what Michael's talking about. Until you can see it in your heads as well, okay? So, see you guys a little bit later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Before I head off, though, let's just say, Loki, yo. He has to get his toy first. It's a support toy. Come on. Yeah. Ooh. You can see how dirty this is. Got it? All right.